How's everyone doing today? Good to see everyone in the presence of the Lord. So, yes, as our beautiful sister Shola mentioned, we're going to be talking about stress and anxiety, how to deal with it, and ways to improve our mental health. Okay, so you can go to the next slide. So, what we're going to discuss today is what is stress and what is anxiety? What is the difference between the two? What you can do to reduce your stress levels and your anxiety levels, okay? And I'll also take any questions you guys have at the end, okay? So, what is stress? So, stress is an emotional response to any kind of external trigger or stimuli. So, the trigger can be short term, like you have a deadline at work coming up next week, and that's a really stressful or stress inducing event. Or it can be long term, like, you're sick, you're dealing with a chronic illness, or you are on disability, you can't work, you're wondering how your finances are going to be long term. Those are chronic or long term stressors. So people under stress, they can develop so many different types of physical symptoms. They can be irritable, they can be angry, they can feel really, really tired. Sometimes you might be so stressed that you just want to go lay down. Even though you know you have a lot of work to do, you're so tired and worn down, you just want to go lay down. That is a result of being stressed out. Muscle pain. Muscle pain is another indicator of being stressed. Sometimes you might feel so stressed that your neck starts to hurt, or you might feel a pain in your thigh or something like that. That can be caused from stress. Digestive issues. You ever felt a crampy feeling in your stomach when you're nervous or you're stressed or you're worried and your stomach is in knots? Have butterflies in your stomach? That's all indicators of stress, okay? And also issues sleeping. So that's another thing that can be affected by stress. You can't sleep at all. Some people have issues falling asleep, or you fall asleep and you can't stay asleep. Stress can cause you to miss out on sleep. So if we go to the next slide, we're going to talk about anxiety. So what is anxiety? So anxiety is a more intense, excessive, and persistent worry or fear about everyday situations. So it's different from having a particular stressor in your life. Anxiety is like everyday events, like you drive to work every day. You might have anxiety about getting on 495. The traffic or a lot of cars going fast. That is anxiety. That is not stress. So that is a difference. So it's an intense, excessive worry about everyday things. I have to see my boss today. I have a meeting. Oh my gosh. You might have meetings every day of the week, but maybe the meetings are what's causing you to feel anxiety, the fact that you have to meet with your boss. Anxiety can manifest in physical symptoms as well: rapid heart rate, rapid breathing, sweating, and also feelings of tiredness. So as I'm speaking up here today, some people who are speaking in a public setting may also experience feelings of anxiety. They may be up here sweating and having a rapid heartbeat. That doesn't mean that you have a long-term chronic anxiety disorder. It just means that in a situation that might cause anxiety, you feel it. So that's still normal. So anxiety is only an indicator of underlying disease when the feelings become excessive and all-consuming, meaning you can't even live your life. Instead of driving to work, you're like, I'm not going outside because I can't drive. So now you're not working, now you're not making money, now your livelihood is at stake. So that's when anxiety now becomes a disorder, it becomes a problem, because it's interfering with your ability to go about your day-to-day. So on the next slide, we're just going to talk about different types of anxiety disorders. So we have generalized anxiety disorder. So this is kind of more into what I was telling you guys about. People worry about general issues like health, money, work, family, but their worries are excessive. So we generally worry about our families. We worry about our children, right? We want what's best for our kids. We want them to go to good schools. We want our spouses to be healthy. We want our parents to be healthy, all of those good things. So we may worry about that. Generally, that is anxiety, but it becomes a disorder when you cannot live your life because you're so worried about all these other things that people deal with on a day-to-day basis. Panic disorder can occur from an unchecked anxiety disorder. So panic disorder can result in panic attacks. So panic attacks are like rapid breathing, unable to control yourself, unable to get a grip on reality, even though there's really no sudden danger around you. That is what a panic attack is. And so also phobia. So some people have an intense fear or phobia of bugs or, birds. So you may see the bird I have a phobia of birds. So you may see a bird and an anxiety event may become induced because that phobia, that fear is causing this anxiety event. What is the big deal, right? Like, why do we need to worry about managing our stress? Why do we need to worry about managing anxiety? So untreated stress and anxiety can cause problems in your life. Okay, it can become difficult to maintain your job. Like I stated earlier, if you can't even get on 495 to get to your job, you're going to have issues with your job. Okay, and also it can affect your quality of life. I don't see how one can have a good quality of life if you're not able to maintain a job, maintain friendships, maintain relationships, because you're afraid of everyday activities. So your quality of life can go down. Also, long term, if it's unchecked, it can damage your health. So it manifests on the body, and this is something I didn't realize. When I was younger, I worked in a really stressful job, and I started having breathing problems as a result of it. I didn't know. I thought I had developed asthma as an adult. I really didn't understand how stress was impacting my body. So I went to an urgent care, got a prescription for an inhaler, rescue inhaler, was using it with no relief, didn't understand what was going on, went to my primary care doctor, and my doctor was like, "Oh, you have anxiety." I was like, What? I haven't been able to breathe for weeks. What do you mean I have anxiety? He was like, "Yeah, you just have anxiety. You're just going to take this drug." He tried to give me Xanax. I don't know if you guys have heard of Xanax, but it's basically a medication that helps with anxiety. It can become addictive, or you can depend on it. And I figured I better get a better job instead of being dependent on drugs just to go to that job. So I ended up leaving that job. But I said all that to say that stress can really manifest in physical symptoms. And I'm going to go over a couple of physical symptoms that can show up when you're under a lot of stress and you may not realize it. So like I stated earlier, respiratory or cardiovascular issues. So when you're stressed, you need more oxygen in your body. That's why I couldn't breathe. And so in that, the muscles around the lungs, they become tense and it becomes harder for you to breathe. So that's a respiratory issue, cardiovascular issue that can occur from being stressed or having anxiety. Your digestive system, like I mentioned earlier, it can affect your digestion. It can upset your stomach. It can cause diarrhea, stomach pain. Your endocrine system. So when you're stressed out, extra sugar is released into the body. So this is when I'm talking about your endocrine system, I'm talking about how your body regulates blood sugar and how your body digests your food. Okay, so your body is releasing more glucose to deal with the stress, and that's causing belly fat. That's causing a round stomach. That's causing weight gain around the midsection. Okay, so stress can cause a big stomach. Sorry, but you guys need to know this. Okay, this is proven. Musculoskeletal system. So when you are stressed, your body tenses up. That can manifest in pains in your neck, pains in your legs, pains in all of your body, your back, like I mentioned earlier. These are all proven things. Reproductive system, okay? When you're stressed, stress can interfere with your body's ability to ovulate, your ability to get pregnant, your ability to, even for men, produce what you need to produce to get a woman pregnant. Stress can interfere with all of that. So it's important to know what unmanaged stress can do to us and why it's important for us to make sure that we manage our stress, okay? Okay, so if we go to the next slide. How can we manage stress and anxiety? Okay, so we don't talk about this enough, but when I was doing my research to get to do this presentation, the first thing that came up was therapy. How many of us in this room have heard of therapy? Raise your hand if you've heard of therapy. Have you heard of it? Have you heard of therapy? Okay, thank you. There's different types of therapy. All the different types I'm going to discuss briefly can help with stress and can help with anxiety. Believe it or not, discussing your issues, finding ways to resolve it can really, really help you cope. Psychotherapy, this is known as talk therapy. So this just uses different techniques to help you identify and understand what your issue is and how to resolve it. And also it helps to identify what behaviors you may have that is contributing to this, okay? There's also cognitive behavior therapy. It's the most common form of psychotherapy, but it helps you, again, to identify specific anxiety issues and challenges quickly, and it gives you the tools to cope with it. Then there's sensory motor therapy. So this helps your body to identify any past traumatic experiences that come up later and trigger those events. Okay, so this is when you have had a traumatic issue maybe in your childhood, maybe a bad car accident, maybe somebody passed traumatically that you remember, and you buried it deep within you, You can use therapy to bring those out so you can heal and stop having those traumatic and stressful events. Group counseling is also another good way to cope. If it's a stressful event that maybe entails your entire family, a group session with your family could help. Okay. Medication, like I mentioned, my doctor had offered me medication. I'm a pharmacist that doesn't really like meds, so I put it here just because it is an option, but I like to recommend that we try everything else before we land on medication. So practice self-care. Make sure you're taking time for yourself to do the things that you like, whether it's exercise, whether it's arts and crafts, whether it's just taking a bubble bath so you can have time alone. Please try to get your self-care in, whatever it is that you like. Take a walk, spend time with your children, take a drive, practice self-care, okay? Make sure you engage in regular exercise. This is very, very important. Exercise releases endorphins into your body that makes you happy. That has been proven. It just boosts your mood and makes you happy. But it also relieves stress because you're able to release that tension onto your workout. So it's two ways that working out helps you, okay? Improve your sleep quality. We talked about the effects that stress can have on your sleep. So try to improve your sleep quality. Ways to do that are to no TV, no devices an hour before bed. Also no liquids an hour before bed. Maybe do something relaxing like read a book or take a bath so you can relax and then ease yourself to sleep. Some people like to check all their emails and then put their phone down and try to close their eyes and sleep, and then they can't sleep because that screen time, it really does something to us where it messes us up. So try to improve your sleep quality. Also, another way to improve your sleep quality is making sure to get, I know it sounds hard, it might sound kind of crazy, but 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. Can we try? It seems tough because we all have, responsibilities and things, but this helps to relieve stress. Last but not least, and I know this might make some of you guys mad, avoid caffeine. Limit and avoid caffeine. I stopped drinking coffee, but I drink tea. Tea still has caffeine in it, but I'm not perfect. But caffeine actually triggers anxiety. If you have an anxiety disorder or you have any kind of underlying stress, it can trigger it and make it worse. It can make you more anxious. It can make you more tense. It can make you more nervous. It can increase your heart rate. And so limiting and avoiding caffeine can assist with managing your stress. So yeah, that's all I have. If anyone has any questions, I'm more than happy to answer. Thank you. And if not, Brother Fred. Take time to do nothing. Yep, rest, very important. Thank you, everyone. Yes. Yes, because our body releases a hormone called male and female. Yes, our body releases a hormone called cortisol when we're stressed. And cortisol is what triggers the blood sugar release. And that is what causes the belly fat to be stored, just right in the midsection, the mid area. Yes. Stress, reduce your stress. And eat well. Reduce your calories, eat well, and reduce your stress. Yes, sir. I didn't hear. Glucose, Mm-hmm. So are you, I feel like we may have to talk on the side, but are you taking any medication to control your blood sugar? Okay, so we can talk. Yeah. Yes, Brother Fred. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Brother Fred is very correct. Exercise helps with our cardiovascular health. So it helps to improve our cardiovascular system, improve our respiratory system. Believe it or not, exercise is not really for weight loss. People think, oh, I want to lose weight, let me start exercising. We should be exercising whether we want to gain weight, lose weight, maintain our weight. We should always exercise for all the number of reasons, including reducing stress, but also just to help our hearts and our bodies. So I don't want to take up too much time. If you guys have any questions, you can come to me. I'm happy to answer them afterwards. Thank you.